Did you know that over 1600 primary schools in the UK have reported incidents of sexual harassment? Yes, you heard that right. Over 1600 schools. We are talking about inappropriate touching, groping, and even assaults happening to children as young as 5. I know what you're thinking. Not my school. This sounds like something from a bad TV show. But unfortunately, it's very real. And it's happening right under our noses. For example, The Guardian highlighted the story of a 12-year-old girl who shared her story on Everyone's Invited, an anti-rape movement organization based in the United Kingdom, focused on exposing rape culture through conversation, education, and support. At just 10 years old, she was dragged into a car by older boys. They assaulted her and recorded it. And this isn't a one-off. This happens far too often, and many survivors are still speaking out. And by the way, it's not just girls. Boys and girls are both exposed to these terrible experiences in school. It's happening across the country, and it's time we had a serious conversation about this. So, what can we do? Well, first, it's about acknowledging that sex education isn't just for high school students. It needs to start much earlier. A lot of these incidents could be prevented with the right education about boundaries, respect, and consent. Everyone's Invited has called for age-appropriate sex education to be taught to kids as young as 9. Not because kids need to know everything at that age, but because they need the tools to recognize and respond to inappropriate behavior. The reality is, there is a huge gap in the system. Kids are growing up in an age where they have unfiltered access to social media, and they are often exposed to toxic content that shapes their perception about relationships and boundaries. Yet we are still waiting until high school to teach them the basics of consent and respect. The consequences are devastating. According to rapecrisis.org, 59% of girls between 13 and 21 report facing some form of sexual harassment in schools or colleges in the UK. That is more than half of all young women. And here's the thing, this harassment doesn't just affect the victims, it is shaping the way boys and girls view each other and themselves. It's affecting their mental health, their self-esteem, and how they interact with the world around them. And yet, schools are not equipped to deal with this. They are still unsure about how to handle peer-on-peer sexual violence and harassment. We need better training and clearer guidelines for teachers and staff to protect students. So, what can we do as a society? We need to start early. We need to educate. We need to have open conversations with kids and ensure they know what's right, what's wrong, and what they deserve. It's time for change, and it starts with us as parents, teachers, and as a community. We need to be more proactive about tackling sexual harassment and abuse in schools. Do you think kids are being taught enough about relationships and consent at a young age? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.